How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Shaz's Place. Today we are going to be doing my final tier list for Season 1. So Season 1 of Ranked is going to be ending very soon, and we are likely going to get a lot of changes, hopefully, to the game, and maybe even some balance changes to the characters. But we're going to look at how the game has progressed, and we're going to see how everybody in the game stacks up right now in general. So we're going to be looking at overall viability for these characters. I do have a solo queue tier list that I made a few weeks back. It's largely about the same. Obviously it doesn't include Greedent because that came out before Greedent came out, but it's about the same. There's a few things that got buffed and changed, and hopefully some of that will be reflected into this tier list as well. So this is, like I said, overall viability of the characters. This is going to be taking some solo queues, some 3 stack, even some constructed play into account, and how useful all these characters can be. So we have 5 tiers right now. We may end up adding more. We'll see how it goes, but we should be on every single team. Pretty obvious. These Pokemon should be on every team in your games. And then we have excellent choices. These are your top tier Pokemon that you're going to have on the team. So you pretty much pick anything from this tier and you're doing pretty good. And then you got some good niche picks. These are Pokemon, they may not be insanely strong in the meta, but they have very good niches and they can do very powerful things. Can sort of work out. These are not really that great, but they have some purpose and they're still not terrible Pokemon. And then you're throwing right now. Pretty obvious. Don't pick these characters. You're basically throwing at the character select screen. So anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're actually going to start from the bottom this time. And right now, we have to say, you should have a Greedent on every single one of your teams. This thing is absolutely broken. He currently has issues, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, good. But yeah, Greedent is insanely powerful. He is currently banned in competitive tournaments right now, and for good reason. Not only is he brand new character, so there's that, but other reasons that we won't get into here. But yeah, he is incredibly powerful. Covet plus Belch is insane. His Unite move plus Belch is insane. He just does a ton of damage. He's incredibly hard to kill, and he can just get in and out of engagements for basically free. Yeah, this character is straight up broken, and he desperately needs a nerf. So there is that. So next up we have Sylveon, and Sylveon is going to end up in those excellent choices category. She is an incredibly powerful laner, and has kind of taken the place of one of the best mages in the game. If you know what I mean by mages, it's basically a Pokemon or character that will be relying almost solely on their abilities, and being a very good lane mage like this in this game is very, very powerful. Being able to evolve at level 4 is incredible, and just one of the most consistent Pokemon in the game, and I think is pretty cool. So yeah, that's Sylveon. And now we have Mamoswine, which Mamoswine's kind of hard to say, because I kind of want to put him into the good niche picks because he is not bad. He is definitely the best of the 3 Pokemon that evolve at level 10, but I kind of have to put him into that can sort of work out. Being having something that evolves that late, he can be like a burden to the team if he can't evolve. If you have like a good team around him, yeah, he's probably really good. He brings a lot of great CC to the table, with Ice Fang and even Ice Cold Crash. I personally still love Ice Fang more, but yeah, that CC that he brings to the table is incredible. But he's a little underwhelming. He's not a bad pick. It's just that there's always going to be something better than him. And we're going to get right into one of those things, and that's our boy Blastoise. And if you asked me a little bit ago, he would probably be in the excellent choices, but right now he's kind of going to fall into those good niche picks. So Blastoise, again, kind of takes a little bit to evolve to come online, but once he comes online, he's incredibly powerful, and he can be a very solid niche pick. He's actually one of the evolving Pokemon that I feel can kind of hold a lane on his own, which is impressive, not gonna lie. You know, having mobility early with like Skull Bash, you can push people away with Water Gun and stuff like that. It's pretty tanky, and once you get War Turtle, you get your first big damaging move in Hydro Pump or Water Spout. You know, usually it's gonna be Hydro Pump now, but yeah, like it's pretty good on his own. But there are better tanks right now, and I do think that Blastoise, while not the worst of the Pokemon that are going to fall in this tier, he's kind of outclassed by some other tanks in the game right now. So that's pretty good. So yeah, Blastoise, I love him still. I never feel bad about seeing a Blastoise on my team, but yeah, he's just kind of there. Alright, next up we got Blissey, and Blissey is also going to fall into those good niche picks. Yeah, amazingly enough, yeah, Blissey has kind of freaking fallen from grace a little bit, and quite honestly, I don't exactly know why. I think she is an excellent Pokemon still, but I feel like that maybe just the meta has shifted a little bit, and her uses have been outclassed by the Pokemon that she initially outclassed, if you know what I'm getting at. So yeah, like, she's still incredibly good, and there is going to be very good niche situations where you can bring out a Blissey in like maybe a game 2 situation, and she's very, very powerful on some comps, you know, enabling Pokemon like Cinderace and Greninja and stuff like that, and, you know, keeping them alive and keeping their power at maximum. But yeah, like, unfortunately, she's just kind of dropped off a little bit. Like, I still think she's a decent choice, and can be useful against some comps incredibly, but yeah, not really that much for me. So, and kind of about the same for Zeraora. See, this is really weird. Like, I think Zeraora is incredible. I think he is incredibly, kind of falls right in the middle of these two, but I do think I kind of have to put him into that good niche pick. You know, you really want to have different characters in the jungle, which means that you're going to probably be putting Zeraora in lane, but as we'll see in a little bit, Zeraora in lane, it's not terrible, of course, but your comps are going to end up with different characters in those roles that do those roles better, and I think that Zeraora, while not bad at all, I do think, like I said, it is a good niche pick. I don't think that it is enough to push it into that excellent choices, personally. But it's kind of like Blastoise. It's like right there in the middle, and I don't necessarily hate seeing Zeraora on the team. So yeah, it's not a bad Pokemon. It's just there's other Pokemon I would prefer to see first. So alright, Wigglytuff, and Wigglytuff is weird. Yeah, we remember it kind of was a terror for a while there, and then it just fell off completely, and yeah, it's again kind of like Blissey. I don't necessarily know why, but like maybe the sleep nerf wasn't that much, but right now Wigglytuff just isn't as scary. But so I do kind of have to put it into that can sort of work out tier. Like, these tiers will be lightly ordered, so I don't really necessarily know if Wigglytuff's better than Mamoswine, because they are completely different Pokemon. But I think Wigglytuff is still fine. It's just I would rather have like a support that can actually, you know, heal and, you know, do stuff like that. I think it's still a excellent Pokemon, but yeah, it's just kind of fallen from grace a little bit, and kind of for good reason. I don't fear Wigglytuff as much. I'm not running full heal just to run into Wigglytuffs, and yeah, like things have, the meta's definitely shifted a little bit. So, alright, next up we got Venusaur. Venusaur falls squarely into this excellent choices category. It got nerfed, but it is still insanely powerful. It is a very good another one of those very good laning mages. It can also jungle and get those power spikes early. It is amazing. Yeah, Venusaur is just fine. It got nerfed slightly, but really that was just like a nice little slap on the wrist, if anything. Like, it still is gonna do whatever it wants to do, and it can be just fine. So, like, there's that. So, alright, next up we got Talonflame, and Talonflame is going to fall into that good niche picks. I do not think that you're going to always build a comp around Talonflame, but if you are seeing that you're struggling with your team comp and your team comp doesn't have a lot of good objectives secure, and you want something that can kind of come in and slam out of the sky and secure every Dreadnought, Rotom, Zapdos in the game, a good Talonflame is very hard to stop in that regard. So I think it is an excellent pick for some team comps, and that's why I kind of have to put it into that good niche picks. It's like, I don't think that it is a bad Pokemon at all. It's just always going to be one of those picks that's, you know, going to, you're always going to probably want something better, you know, other than it, but if on certain comps, it's going to be incredibly powerful, and I'm going to kind of keep it into that good niche picks. Snorlax, my boy, is still busted, and yes, he is the truest of tanks, and you love to see him. So yeah, like, you can't be a good Snorlax. Like, it is insane. I know a lot of people think that, oh well, there's, you know, you have other Pokemon. You got Greedent. Like, why would you need two defenders on your team? Well, it's like, well, Greedent doesn't really work like a true defender. It doesn't have a ton of CC. Snorlax is a CC monster, and yeah, I think that this, you can never go wrong with a Snorlax, man. You can never go wrong with a Snorlax on your team. And, you know, shout outs to plenty of the good Snorlaxes out there, you know, especially Zugrug. You see the top #1 team, even though the meta's shifting around, that Snorlax has remained a pillar of that team from the very beginning, and it's not going to go anywhere. So there's that. So I'm loving Snorlax still. It is still incredible. It is the truest of tanks in this game, and it will never change. So next up, Slowbro. Slowbro is going to fall into that good niche picks, and that is pretty cool. So Slowbro brings something to the table that no other Pokemon can do, and that is being able to stop an 80 carry or stop a freaking carry Pokemon in their tracks and let you just remove it from the battlefield. So we see a lot of Pokemon like say Charizard, Garchomp, Mr. Mime, freaking Greedent, all these Pokemon that have unstoppable shenanigans and you can't do anything about them. Well, Slowbro in those situations can just be like, you know what? Stop. Enough. I've had enough of you. My team is going to dive in on you and you're gonna just die. So yeah, Slowbro, his Unite move alone is enough to put him into this good niche picks category, because he can be a very good counter to other things on the team. So yeah, I think that he is an excellent niche pick, and he's something that while he's never going to be the first choice for a defender, I do think that maybe Mamoswine is a little bit more viable than him as a character, but just what Slowbro can do in like a good constructed team, there's not much you can do. Like I said, Slowbro does something that no other character can do, and I love that. So, alright, Pikachu. Surprisingly enough, for many of you, Pikachu is going to land in the good niche picks. His damage got upgraded. That was the biggest problem that I always had with Pikachu. That got somewhat fixed. He's still not great in the late game. That's why I still don't think that he's an excellent choice. There is better options than him, especially like Sylveon, Venusaur, because you got to compare Sylveon and Venusaur to Pikachu. They're all like those lane mage roles, and yeah, like that's pretty cool. So yeah, Pikachu, not bad. It's not bad. It has an incredibly powerful early game, so you can definitely hard win a lane with a Pikachu on your side, and sometimes that is enough to snowball it into a winning position, and that's pretty cool. Next up, we have Mr. Mime, and Mr. Mime, funnily enough, despite being a supporter, has kind of taken a tank role in this game. You'll see a lot of teams, including our own, who have adapted to using Mr. Mime more as our tank for the team. He brings a ton of CC to the table. He has the barriers with, the walls with the barriers, like very similar to Snorlax's block, where it's kind of similar. And Confusion does a ton of damage. It can bring like a lower level execute to the team, which is very powerful, and I really like it. Yeah, Mr. Mime, shout outs to Camel on our team. He is an incredible Mr. Mime, and that's just the way it is. I love Mr. Mime, and I love that he has been climbing up in popularity on some of these higher level teams, and that's pretty cool. So Machamp. Oh, this hurts me to do this. I love Machamp. He is so fun to play, but I do think if you are picking Machamp, you are kind of throwing. And I am so sorry to say that. It hurts me to say that. But yeah, I'm sorry, don't pick Machamp. He's so hard to use in lane. If you're putting him in the jungle, then that means that you're not gonna have like a top tier jungler. And even if you do, like, he can get kited out pretty hard, and you can wait out his cooldowns and stuff like that. And like, it sucks because I love Machamp and I do think that he has some viability, but it's just, honestly, if you're picking Machamp and you're trying to be competitive, you're kind of throwing, and that hurts my heart to say. It genuinely does to say that, because I love Machamp. He's so fun, but yeah, it kind of sucks. It sucks to have to say that, but alright, next up we have the boy Lucario. He's the best character in the game. Greninja has issues right now. Yeah, you could say an argument for Greninja, but Lucario has been consistently the best character in the game for an incredibly long time, and I don't honestly know if they can really nerf him outside of completely ruining the character. And yeah, that's just there. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah. Lucario, what else can I say about him, man? Like, he just does everything. Like, he hits insanely hard. He has, power up punch for objective secure, even though it is kind of bugged right now. I do suggest that you not use power up punch right now, just because there is a bug where it can do 0 damage. But even then, extreme speed is insane. Bone rush is absurd. It gives you a tiny bit of CC, and you can freaking teleport shenanigans all around. It's awesome. Like, Lucario is insane. They nerfed him, and it barely affected him at all. Like, he is still the best character in the game, in my opinion. And yeah, even when Venusaur was absolutely cracked out of his mind, I still thought Lucario was the best character in the game. And you should have a Lucario on every single one of your teams. It is that insanely good. So yeah. Greninja, oh my boy, my boy, I missed you so much. Unfortunately, he has to fall into the good niche picks just because there is another character right now that's better than him. And you know what? Let's just kind of talk about him as well. Let's talk about Cinderace. Cinderace is going to fall into that excellent choices. I will not put him in the should be on every team, because I do think that there are other viable junglers like Venusaur, like Greninja, that Talonflame that you can make the case for. So I don't think you necessarily need a Cinderace on every team, but Greninja and Cinderace, they just do the same thing pretty much. They just do mountains of damage from the back line. It's just right now Cinderace is just a little bit better, and yeah, like, that's just about it. Like, you can pick Greninja, but Cinderace is just better right now. So if you're wanting to go that role, they're basically the same Pokemon. Even though I love Greninja more, it is my favorite Pokemon in the game. It is my favorite to play. He is a character that I've played the most of, over double as many games as any other character that I've played, and yeah, I love this Pokemon, but it's just right now, Cinderace is just better. You know, they both come out of the jungle at an insanely early level, with an absurd power spike, and they just get to do whatever they want pretty much most of the game. And yeah, I love both of them, but you know, just Greninja, unfortunately, right now, he had to hand the throne over to Cinderace as the best jungler, but he'll be back, maybe. We'll see. I don't know, but all right, the delinquent children, the 3 Gars are here, and we're just gonna do all 3 of them at once. Right now, I think Gardevoir is ever so slightly the best of the 3, then Garchomp, and right now Gengar is the worst character in the game. I am sorry to say, even though he got a really cool costume with the Battle Pass, but these 3 are problems. And I do know, I did have like that comp where I was trying out with Gardevoir, but I don't think that it's worth it right now. Like, she just takes so long to come online, and she's just unfortunately just not really viable at all right now, just because you can be griefed so hard, even in the jungle. Like, we had one game when we were trying that comp, and they realized that I was jungle Gardevoir, so they sent their Lucario in to counter jungle me, and there was nothing I could do. Like, there's nothing you can do. So like, and like when you're up against smart opponents and stuff like that, even as the jungler, as a Gardevoir, like you can be griefed, and you can just become useless, and that really sucks. And the same kind of goes for Garchomp as well. At least he can kind of fight back a little bit more, but not really enough. Like, if you're still a Gible and you're going up against a Lucario, it doesn't matter if you have a level over them, you're still gonna die. Like, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, like, it's kind of sucks. Like, it, and yeah, I do actually have a video in the works where I'm going to talk about these 3 characters, the triple Gars, as you will, if you will, and yeah, I just want to talk about how these 3 characters specifically can be improved, and I have ideas for them, and I just want to contextualize it all into one video if I can. So keep an eye out for that. Might come out, you know, this weekend, might come out tomorrow. I don't know. It just depends on how long it takes me to freaking make it. So we'll see. But yeah, so Garchomp and Gardevoir at least have some tiny viability. Gengar, though, I have no freaking idea. This character is hot garbage, like, right now, and that is so unfortunate. But yeah, if you are picking these characters right now, unfortunately, you're kind of throwing. As much as I love Garchomp, as much as I love Gardevoir, it hurts me to say, very similar to Machamp, but it hurts me to say you are kind of throwing if you're picking these characters. So, alright, enough about that. Eldegoss, right now, I think Eldegoss needs to be on every team, every competitive team. If you have a Lucario, an Eldegoss, a Greedent, and then fill in the team with like a jungler like a Cinderace, or a tank like, or a true tank like Mime, or even like another lane mage like Sylveon and things. So basically, if you pick like anything from, you know, make a combination out of these Pokemon, you're gonna have it a top tier team. Eldegoss just brings so much to the table. Like, you know, you got movement speed from Leaf Tornado. If you want to run heals, you're gonna run Pollen Puff, and you're just gonna do a lot of sustain to keep your team healthy. And you know, Cotton Guard is incredible, gives a shield and healing to the entire team. Can help boost the power of your score shields on your team as well. Like, that's just really, really cool. And yeah, I think that I just think that Eldegoss is, yeah, a pretty good Pokemon, and I think that it should be on every team right now. Like, it's just that powerful of a Pokemon, and just brings a ton to the table, and just keeps the entire team alive, and just holds the team together as like a glue, and I just love it so much. So, all right, Crustal. Crustal, like, it's neat. The thing is, like, Crustal, I feel like Crustal is like the truest of solo queue Pokemon, because like he's gonna do the same thing every game, and it doesn't matter if you're playing with people, if you're playing with solo queue, he's gonna do whatever he wants. That's not really gonna change as long as you're a good Crustal. But I do think that he is, in like constructed play, he is so far outclassed by every other tank. Like that. In like a 5-person team, what Crustal brings to the table, it just isn't as useful as like Blastoise or even Slowbro. Like, Crustal doesn't have a ton of CC. At least like the build that you'd see typically with, you know, the Shell Smash and Stealth Rock. If you do use X Scissor, then I guess that's a decent amount of CC, but it's not really that good. You know, I'd still rather have like Slowbro, Surf, because, you know, you can get that like much earlier. I'd rather have, like, you know, the displacement of Blastoise's Surf and Hydro Pump, and I especially would love to have, you know, like Snorlax block and Heavy Slam over anything Crustal brings to the table, or even Mime. Like we said, like, Mime is taking the place of a tank on some teams, and, you know, Confusion just doing mountains of damage and pushing people into walls and stuff like that is even better than what Crustal brings to the table, personally. So yeah, like, I think Crustal's fun. He is there, but, you know, he can kind of sort of work on the team, but you're always gonna probably want a more dedicated tank on the team, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, next up we have Karli Rant, and oh my, how the mighty have fallen. I don't want to insult Karli by putting him into the Consorta workout, because he is still a very good Pokemon, but I do think that he kind of falls into the good niche picks. I think that he is he's very powerful early game still, and that's very cool. And the Unite move, while it got nerfed unjustly, by the way, I know that was an insanely unjustified nerf, but I do think that he is kind of there on the team. Like, there's better options. You have Venusaur still, you have Sylveon still. I would say even probably Pikachu is better than him right now, which is insane to say, but I think I would actually rather see a Pikachu on my team than a Cramorant right now. I don't know, that one's really close. I'll probably change my mind tomorrow about that, but yeah. So yeah, Cramorant's cool. He's fine. He brings some decent CC to the table, and yeah, that's that. So I do think that he's a little bit better than the next Pokemon that we're going to be talking about, and that's Ninetales. I'm going to skip over Charizard for right now, because I got a little bit to say about Charizard. But yeah, Ninetales, unfortunately, is fallen into the Consorta workout category. Like, I'm not going to insult her by throwing her into she's throwing. I do not think that you're throwing if you're picking Ninetales. I think she is a fine Pokemon. It's just the way the game is like shifted and stuff like that. You have a lot of Pokemon like you know, Greedent and like Snorlax and Mime and stuff like that, and these are hard Pokemon for her to take down, especially like Greedent and Lucario. They can just dive on her, and, you know, they got unstoppable moves if they want to run that. You know, she cannot stack up against the Cinderace, because Cinderace outranges her, and you know, you can't do anything about that, and that's just so scary. And Sylveon especially, like, Sylveon has basically taken her role. Sylveon's damage is insane compared to Ninetales, because, like, sure at level 4 you guys both evolve, but like Sylveon's damage at that point is just crazy compared to Ninetales. Like, you get a little bit of CC, and then you get Aurora Veil at level 6. Well, you know, Sylveon is going to be, you know, screaming at people for freaking 2 whole levels until you start doing real damage with Ninetales. So, and there's that. So, but yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think Cramorant is ever so slightly better than Ninetales, and yeah, so, but I'm not gonna say you're kind of wasting your pick if you're going for if you're picking Ninetales for your team, but you're probably better off playing like other lane mages than Ninetales. Unfortunately, she's just kind of fallen off, and like her late game especially is just really, really weak. So, alright, Charizard. This one is really, really hard because I do think Charizard has viability. Like, of course, we see, like, you know, shoutouts to Rin, who's the jungler on A-Drive's team. He has shown some viability with Charizard, but I think that's more of a testament to how good of a player Rin is. And I do think that he's kind of a very good anti-meta pick, but I don't think it's enough to push him into the good niche picks category. I think I have to put him in at the very top of the can sorta work category. He's incredibly close pushing up here, incredibly close, but I do think that he's kind of he just doesn't have enough. You know, he still has to get a ton of experience to get going. You got to put him into the jungle. He can come out of the jungle incredibly strong, but if you're jungling with Charizard, that means you're not going to be jungling with Cinderace, and even if you're not jungling with Charizard or Cinderace, you're not jungling with Greninja or Talonflame, and like that alone is just like, I don't know how I feel about it. So like, I love Charizard. I think that he is an excellent pick, and I'm loving that he is getting some viability. And while I don't necessarily hate seeing a Charizard on my team if they know what they're doing, I do not think it's quite enough to push him up into that, you know, good niche picks category. All right, Absol. Yeah, y'all know how I feel about Absol. However, I will put him into the top of your throwing category. I think he has the tiniest bit of viability. He is better than Machamp. He is better than the triple Gars. He's just, no. If you're putting an Absol, if you're bringing an Absol to the team, then you're not, you're gonna be putting him into the jungle most likely because the character's not very good in lane. He's not like Zeraora. It's like, if you want to play a speedster in lane, just play Zeraora. Like, he's actually good in lane. Like, Absol, it's like you got to put him in the jungle. And again, like I said with Charizard, if your jungler is Absol, then you're not running a Cinderace or a Greninja or a Talonflame jungle. Like, if you want a speedster in the jungle, just run Zeraora. Like, that's it. So like, or Talonflame too, obviously, but you know, there's that. But yeah, like, I do think that you're still kind of throwing if you're choosing to pick Absol for your team, but he is still fun. He's pretty fun. You know, he's a lot better than he used to be. He's not the worst character in the game anymore. I think he's probably the 5th worst in the game. It's this is kind of ordered a little bit. I would probably put Gardevoir over Machamp, but that might just be my personal bias for liking Gardevoir. But yeah, these are kind of like my bottom 5 in the game. And then yeah, so, but anyway, though, that's about it. This is kind of ordered in tiers, not really, especially like this good, especially from like here up, the good niche picks tier and up. You can't really go wrong picking any of these characters in their respective roles, of course. So, but yeah, and yeah, I think that's about it. So like, let me know, guys, what do you think? Like I said, this is the overall viability of these characters, not necessarily exactly how good each of them are, but like their overall viability at the end of this season, and how well they would perform on a constructed team, basically, in my opinion. So anyway, that's gonna be it for today, you guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Leave me a comment down below about your opinions on some of this stuff. Like I said, this is very fluid. It's very fluid. Like, things can change around from day to day as well for me, and you know, the ordering in these tiers is kind of all over the place anyway. So but that's gonna be it for today, though, guys. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. I love you all. Deuces.